Finally, there's a release date for the Mega Man X Anniversary Collections, but the fact that they're collections is really steaming a lot of people's shit. Is this really not that big a deal, or is it bullshit like the Mega Man Legacy Collections? My name's Cameron, and today my goofy ass is gonna answer the hard questions. Before I address the Mega Man X Anniversary Collections, first I need to talk about what's wrong with the Mega Man Legacy Collections. It's not that the games are bad in any way, but the fact that the original Mega Man compilation on the GameCube, PS2, and Xbox had all the games in the series makes it feel weird for the first Legacy Collection to exclude the last 4 games in the original series. I mean, it kinda made sense at first, cause the argument could be made that Capcom wanted to focus on the NES games in the first Legacy Collection, plus there were 2 Mega Man games that came out since then. But the file sizes of Mega Man's 9 and 10 are even smaller than my mom's dick. So it couldn't have been that much trouble to toss those games in the mix along with 7 and 8. And what about the Power Fighters games that were also on the GameCube disc? How about Mega Man and Bass, the Game Gear and Game Boy games, and Wily Wars? And lastly, whether it be the old or new compilations, why does Capcom always insist on using the PlayStation version of Mega Man 8? After all, the Saturn version's an ass hair better. But that's getting off topic. All I'm saying is I'm watching you, Capcom, and you're on thin ice. I will go easy on you though, cause despite original Mega Man games being divided up into 2 separate collections, there was at least plenty of bonus content added on with extra gameplay as well, and the Legacy collections were released far enough apart to where it might be possible that the original intent was just to focus on the NES series, since they are kinda looked at as their own thing. Even though I highly doubt this scenario, there's still the possibility that Capcom saw the success of the Legacy collection and decided to do a sequel cause of it. Plus it was nice to finally be able to own Mega Man's 9 and 10 on a physical copy. But the Catboys demonstrated how cheap they are by including the second Legacy collection as a digital download for the Nintendo Switch, rather than just putting both games on one cartridge, which we know for a 100% fact that they could have easily done. Instead, Capcom decided to save like 14 accumulative cents by forcing people to waste internal memory just to be able to play the second Legacy collection on the go. I already made a video going into more detail on why that's bullshit though, but when I heard the news of the Mega Man X collections having 2 separate releases, I immediately stopped watching other X-related videos and started typing away about why I thought it was lame for Capcom to milk the Anniversary collections. I mean, why not just combine both games into one release? If you get the PS4 or Xbox One bundle, then you'll at least have both games separately on physical discs, which I have no issues with whatsoever. But Capcom's pulling their usual bullshit once again by selling the Switch bundle with the second game only being digital, and it doesn't seem like they learned from the mistakes of the Resident Evil and Mega Man Legacy compilations. Both collections are going to have their own standalone physical releases in Japan, as well as having what they're calling a bunduru, which is the same thing as a bundle. So if you want to pay a little bit more to own both collections physically on the Switch in Japan, at least you have the option to. As of right now, the rest of the world's Switch owners don't seem to have the option to buy physicals for both games separately though. We either have to buy the bundle with one of the games being digital or nothing at all. I would have gladly paid $5 more for the Resident Evil Revelations collection if it meant having both games physically. And I hate that I can't just buy physical copies of the Resident Evil games separately, since Revelations 2 is the only one that I actually wanted. I only wanted the second one since I literally owned the first one on the 3DS and PS4, and the Switch had the same problem with the Legacy collections. But hopefully Capcom releases the second collection physically for the rest of the world. I guess Japan getting the better deal's karma for the original Mega Man X collection on the PS2 and GameCube being exclusive to North America and Uzbekistan. I know a lot of people don't mind buying the bundle even if one of the games is digital though, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, me and my neighbor Terry don't mind ponying up the dough if it means owning both games physically. To be fair though, I'm not as mad at Capcom over the X collections as I was with the Legacy collections, because if both games can't seem to fit on a 50GB Blu-ray, then I'd imagine that they definitely can't fit on a 32GB Switch cartridge. But I can't judge Capcom too hard yet since we don't really know the file sizes to the X collections as of yet. I would just hope that both games combined aren't under 8GB like the Legacy collections were, but it's lame the Catboys are forcing a digital download up our asses because they didn't want to pay for 2 Switch carts. Hopefully Nintendo ruins the box art with their patented warning label though. I know Switch cartridges are more expensive to produce than Blu-rays, but either give us a Switch tax or don't bundle them together at all, because I doubt there's anybody out there who likes buying games half physical, half digital. Just let the people who prefer or don't mind digital download the games. It's lame as shit to sell physical copies of digital downloads. Cappy should have just released the first X collection physically on the Switch, with the second one only being on the eShop since it's gonna be digital anyway. It's not like you're getting any kind of deal with the bundle, besides maybe a Mega Man X collector's condom or something like that. Again though, I'm not nearly as irked with the X collections as I was with the Legacy collections, because the Switch is region free, so even if we don't end up getting the second X collection physically outside of Japan, I could just order it online and display it nicely on my shelf next to my erotic videos of Jim Ross. And as for the 7 or 8 Xbox One owners in Japan, they could just get physicals from the US. Hooray for region locking not being a thing anymore. If one of the two games is going to be digital though, then I guess Capcom made the right choice. I mean, it's not like there's going to be very many people only getting the second collection, since the meat and potatoes are mainly in the first. In one man's arrogant opinion, the first two games in the X series are masterpieces, and while the third takes a modest step back in terms of quality, the fourth hits it out of the park. Don't get me wrong, 5, 6, and 8 are alright, but the second half of the collection's really more for diehard fans. There are plenty of positives to keep me excited about the anniversary collections though. There's a lot of bullshit involved, but the games are all upscaled and look better this time around, especially for Mega Man X8. Plus, there's a mode where you face all the bosses in handicap matches that looks pretty badass, and I'm sure they added a bunch of other challenges as well. Not to mention that the Day of Sigma OVA is included on top of an assload of other extras like nudes of Dr. Light. I mean, if the bundle on the PS4 is going to be included in 2 separate discs, then I'll give Capcom a little wiggle room with my judgment, since bigger Switch cartridges do cost considerably more than Blu-rays. And even though I'm pretty sure one PS4 disc would have been enough to fit both games, a 32GB Switch cartridge is rather expensive to publish. That's assuming both games combined would be less than 32 gigs though. Capcom's probably using 2 PS4 discs as a ruse, cause assholes like me will call them out for being stingy with Switch cartridges. Obviously, Capcom watches every video this channel makes after all. Even though I can live with the games being separated though, I do admit that I'd ideally prefer the entire X collection be on one disc or cartridge. It'd be nice if we got Command Mission and Battle and Chase, but if the collections result in us getting a new Mega Man X game, then I'll shut my butt right now. But if you ask me, I'm sure Capcom's already working on one, and this game's meant to generate interest in the series as well as make a little extra money. What do you think though? Should the Mega Man X Anniversary Collection just be on one disc or cartridge? Or do you think Capcom works in mysterious ways? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and as always, I'll pin whatever I find most entertaining. Consider supporting the channel on Patreon for as low as $1 a month. Don't forget to like and share this video to help this channel grow. And if your muscles are big enough to make Arnold Schwarzenegger cower in fear, then go ahead and press the subscribe button. My name's Rich at Review Tech Puerto Rico signing out. Have a good one.
So I want to say thank you to your loyalty, thank you for your support.